Okay, this is a nice lighting, to be honest. I wasn't supposed to make another podcast probably by next week, but the ray of the sun inspired me to do something other things. And you know what? Let's make a podcast. For today's episode, I've been thinking about it, and I would want to say the progress. I think there's a theme for this episode. The first episode was more of like human experience. Second one's probably about progress. I want to keep it like one or two letter word per episode. I don't want it to just be another information type of thing. It's more of like reflecting words. I want people to be able to decipher my podcast as a sort of like an experience, of being able to connect, being able to relate. So this episode is probably more about sorry, this episode is about progress. You know, the other day I was watching The Gilded Age, rewatching, I would say, for the first season, and there was this one particular line that the actor who plays Ward McCaster and the great Cara Coon, who plays Bertha Russell, on the scene of the Brooklyn Bridge, where they talk about the future. If you guys are not familiar with the Gilded Age, this is a sort of like a mix of a historical and fictional drama series of the Gilded Age in New York City, on how, or sort of like a personification and an interpretation of how people see the Gilded Age at that time, based on the narratives and the scriptures, and of course the history that we have right now. All right, so back to the topic. There was this one particular scene there about the Brooklyn Bridge, and that always keeps at the head of my time because I started watching The Gilded Age this year, and that particular episode is probably my favorite episode out of all the series so far. Noting because of one particular line where they focus about progress. I'm not sure if this is exact lines, but this is an interpretation of it. When Ward McCaster says that this is the future, is this really the path forward? And then the great Karakun responded and said, we don't really know what the future will be, but we are here to witness it and stuff. And that's when I realized that everything that we do right now will always affect on how our progress will be in the future. Sometimes for the good, sometimes for the worse. And there's not there's not really telling of how our actions will be. Because the thing is, if we keep on thinking, oh, what's going to be good or what's going to be bad, then we will not be able to live. There is a reason why we are in this world, as related to the first podcast, and we are here because of a certain purpose. Right now, we are living at that moment in time. So every day, as we go along and we close the day, that is part of the history. So we were part of that moment. And all we can do is to simply witness to it. Sometimes we have the power to change it. Sometimes we have the power to just keep it through. But it's always the actions and choices that we make. So whenever people ask me about what is progress to me, I would say it can be interpreted differently. Sometimes people say it's progress when you see huge buildings or the future, or when the country is getting rich from being a poor country. Some people say it's about sustainability, or it can be about just being minimal. But if you were to ask me of what progress is about the learning, the philosophies that we have throughout the years where we grow. And it can be something that is subjective. It can be something that is canonical. It can also be something that is just right now we're doing. That is progress. For as long as that you do something that is different from the past, that will affect or alter the way that you see your life or the course of your life, that's progress. We have interpretations of it, different connotations for it. But progress is progress. Regardless if we're going to be here, not going to do anything, something will always be there, going in for that progress. Nothing's going to stop it, not even me, not even you. So what we can do is just to either sit back, relax, or we try to change it. So yeah, I think that's about it for today's podcast. Cheers, guys. So if you guys want more information or more idea about my upcoming progress, please progressed. If you guys want more about my upcoming podcast, please do follow me on my social media accounts. And yeah, see you guys for the next episode.